Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. You who cheers with every three-pointer from Chef Curry, hold on tight because what I'm about to tell you could completely change the future of the franchise. But before we dive in, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, leave a like below, and turn on the notification bell. This is going to heat up, and you won't want to miss what could be the boldest new beginning of the Steve Kerr era. Just imagine, one of the most explosive players in the NBA, the one who drives crowds wild with his insane dunks, wearing the Warriors blue and gold. Yes, you heard right. Ja Morant. That's right, him. The name that's been shaking up the NBA behind the scenes is now being linked to Golden State. And no, this isn't social media fan fiction, okay? The league's behind-the-scenes chatter is burning hot, and the question everyone's asking is, what would happen if Ja Morant joined Steve Kerr's system? Think about it. You've got Curry stretching defenses with long-range shots, and alongside him, someone who breaks any defense with one-on-one play, who flies toward the basket with nearly uncontrollable intensity. Now I ask you, what defense in the Western Conference can stop this? Of course, for this to happen, it's not just about wanting it. The trade would be complex. Morant is the face of the Memphis Grizzlies, and letting him go won't come cheap. But if there's one franchise that knows how to make daring moves with intelligence, it's the Warriors. And that's where it gets interesting, because this potential arrival of Morant wouldn't be just another addition. It would be a complete reinvention of the offense, a duo formed by one of the greatest shooters in history and the most electric young player in the league. And all of this under the strategic eye of Steve Kerr, who's already proven he knows how to turn individual talents into collective dynasties. But wait, because that's not all. While Morant's name is stirring up the rumor mills, there are two other names that have been quietly growing in the internal conversations of San Francisco. Two players who may not have the hype of a superstar yet, but who could be key pieces in a new chapter of the franchise. Riza Bando and Sodto. Filipinos, young, determined, and full of potential. The fans may not know them that well, but anyone who watched the last FIBA World Cup saw these guys play with heart. And that, my friend, the Warriors value immensely. ABANDO, for example, is the kind of player who changes the energy when he steps onto the court. He gives his all on every possession, pressures, runs, defends, drives, and hits shots from the outside. A true Swiss Army knife. Steve Kerr loves that type of player. And more, he can play multiple positions, something the Warriors system demands. It's not just about talent, it's about fit. ABANDO matches the fast-paced rhythm, the position swaps, and the off-ball movement that makes this team one of the deadliest in the NBA. And there's more. If you think he's coming just to fill the roster, think again. His presence could shake up the whole bench, it could lift the Chase Center, and most importantly, it could connect the team even more with the vast Filipino-American community in the Bay Area. Can you imagine the cultural impact of this? It's not just on the court that he could shine. Off the court, the Warriors would gain massive international engagement. Products, jerseys, viewership. The fan base would grow on the other side of the world, and the franchise knows just how valuable that is. Now, hold on to this name, Sodto, a 7'3" center, yes. I said 7'3", but don't think he's just a slow giant under the rim. Sodto is skilled, has good passing, moves well, and, get this, could develop a dangerous mid-range shot. He's the type of modern center the NBA is looking for. A guy who protects the paint, but also knows how to read the game, run in transition, and even space the floor. And if there's one thing the Warriors still lack, it's a center with these characteristics. Since Bogut's days, the team has tried various formulas. JaVale, Looney, Bielitsa, all useful, but none with the full potential Sodto offers. If he fits into the system, Golden State could get a respected defensive anchor, without sacrificing mobility or fluidity on offense. Imagine this scenario with me. Curry running the offense, Sodto setting the pick, Morant cutting without the ball, ABANDO positioning in the corner. Who guards whom? Who doubles who? Who can keep up with the speed of this team? And you know what's even better? These players bring something the locker room needs, hunger. They want to prove themselves. They want to grow. They want to win. They're not here to just take part in the NBA. They're here to make history. Of course, all of this requires patience. Integrating three new pieces, two young international players and a star like Morant, doesn't happen overnight. It will take work, adjustments, and testing. But let's be honest. If there's one team that's shown it knows how to make this work, it's the Warriors. The team that knew how to fit Durant without losing its identity. The team that developed Poole, DiVincenzo, Kuminga, Moody. The team that turns promise into important pieces. And that knows exactly the value of every choice. And more, the arrival of these players wouldn't just be about tactics. It would be about emotion, about message, about identity. It would be like saying, we're ready for a new era, but with the same values. Because the Warriors' DNA is this: movement, unity, collective vision, and if you add explosiveness, youthful energy, and court intelligence into that DNA, the result could be devastating. So, fan, are you ready for what's to come? Because this could be the start of a new cycle, a bold, strategic, and, why not, legendary cycle. But hold on. Because the arrival of new names inevitably raises a question that no one likes to face. Who will leave? Yes, my friend. For someone to enter, someone has to make room. And here, the Golden State front office will have to make some tough decisions. We're talking about names that are already part of the rotation, who get consistent minutes, but who might not be able to keep that spot in a renewed and younger roster. And this isn't just a matter of talent. It's about fit, role, and system integration. A roster can't be made up only of stars. It needs complementary pieces, specialists, chemistry, and that's why Kerr and the coaching staff will analyze everything in minute detail. Imagine a scenario where Morant comes in and takes explosive playmaking minutes. ABANDO comes in to pressure on the wings, perform the defensive wear-down role, and accelerate fast breaks. Sodto comes in for 12 to 18 minutes per game, alternating between protecting the rim and spacing the floor offensively. What's left for players who are currently used as bench energy but who don't bring the same physical impact? The Warriors would need to open up minutes, and maybe even let go of one or two contracts. One name could be involved in a trade, another could become salary dump material. This is part of the NBA. It's painful, but necessary for evolution. The question remains, who's ready to make this sacrifice for the next era of the Warriors? And speaking of the next era, this possible Morant-ABANDO-Sodto-Curry core could just be the beginning of something bigger. Let's imagine an alternative scenario here, just to challenge your fan mindset. Are you ready? Imagine if the Warriors, betting on this new moment, start building a new Big Three quietly. Stephen Curry as the mentor and eternal symbol of the franchise. Ja Morant as the next offensive face, carrying the torch of speed and aggression. Sodto as the rim protector with intelligence and physical presence. And around them, movable pieces like ABANDO, Moody, Kuminga, all young, athletic, and willing to run, defend, and sacrifice their own shine for the team. This kind of scenario doesn't happen every year. But when it does, it has to be seized, and it's not just on the court that the impact is felt. Remember when we talked about the Filipino community in the Bay Area? Now imagine Sodto's first night as a starter at Chase Center. The stands full of Philippine flags, an electric atmosphere, the entire Asian press broadcasting live. This is not just a game. This is a cultural milestone. And the Warriors know how to turn moments like these into power. They did it when they made room for G League players, when they backed young guys who were written off, when they looked to the world and said, talent can come from anywhere. And speaking of talent, there's one factor you might not have thought about. If Ja Morant comes, it won't just be a matter of raw talent. It will also be about mental restructuring, because the Warriors are not just any team. They have an internal code, a culture, a mentality that doesn't tolerate deviations. And Morant, who's already faced highs and lows, would come into an environment where the focus is total, where every step is observed, where the locker room has experienced leaders, where there's accountability, but also support. If there's a place where Morant can turn potential into legacy, that place is the Golden State Warriors. And it's no coincidence that the behind-the-scenes talk points to this. Because, see, the Warriors have pieces, they have draft picks, they have promising young players, And more than that, they have a system that values the collective. Exactly what could help Morant evolve as a player and a leader. Now, I want you to imagine this moment. Game 6 of the conference semifinals. Warriors down by 3, 15 seconds left on the clock. The defense collapses on Curry at the perimeter. He quickly passes to Morant, who attacks with speed, drives to the rim, draws the defense, and dishes to Sodto wide open in the corner. Boom! Three-pointer. Warriors take the lead. Explosion at Chase Center. It's not an exaggeration. This could become reality if these moves come to fruition. But of course, nothing is guaranteed. There's the political side of the league. There's negotiation. There are numbers. There's fan pressure. There's media speculation. There are the behind-the-scenes dynamics. And that's why, now more than ever, the front office needs to be surgical. This could be the transition moment, the passing of the torch, the restructuring without losing identity. Because the Warriors might be facing a choice: stay competitive with what they already have, or dare once more and build a new legacy. And if you think this is already too bold, just wait until we talk about money. Because yes, behind every strategic move, there's a financial framework, a delicate calculation involving the salary cap, room for exceptions, and the infamous luxury tax, which Golden State knows all too well. For Ja Morant to arrive, for instance, the Warriors would have to make major adjustments to their payroll. We're talking about a max contract, a salary that directly impacts finances and demands bold moves in return. Likely a few mid-tier names from the current roster would need to be included in a package deal to balance the numbers. In practical terms, this means the front office would have to make a very clear decision: give up depth in exchange for a new star. Go all in, play to win now, even if the short-term cost is painful. But what if the return is a motivated Morant, fully integrated and disciplined within San Francisco's winning culture? Then the equation starts to make sense. Because the impact of a move like this goes far beyond the cap sheet. It transforms a roster, it shifts narratives, it repositions the team in the title race. And that's only possible because the Warriors have a rare advantage: institutional trust. The fans believe, the players buy in, and the league respects it. Now let's talk about fit, because the arrival of Morant, ABANDO, and Sodto wouldn't just change names, it would change the style of play. Steve Kerr would suddenly have a roster with a level of tactical versatility rarely seen in the NBA. He could build a more physical team, a faster team, a team that attacks vertically. He could alternate between small ball lineups and those with two big men. He could turn the second unit into a pressure machine. More than that, he could reinvent the offense. That constant, almost choreographed motion that has become the Warriors' trademark would gain a new ingredient: explosiveness. With Morant, the team would have someone who creates advantages through pure speed, someone who forces defenses to retreat, who breaks lines with ease. That opens up space for shooting, for cutting, for the extra pass. It's what Americans call gravity, the power to draw the defense's attention just by what you represent. ABANDO, on the other hand, would bring that fighting spirit, that relentless hustle. He's the kind of player who shifts a game's momentum with a single block or a key steal. And the Warriors value that like gold. Sodto, meanwhile, would be a game changer in the paint. For the first time in years, the team would have someone with size, length, and vision to protect the rim while contributing offensively without clogging the spacing. That changes everything. It changes how the team defends, how it attacks, how matchups are selected. And you know what else changes? Confidence. The team grows stronger mentally. The rotation gains new weapons. The bench feels like part of the mission. And at the end of the day, that's what decides playoff game. Now think with me. When the Warriors reached the finals in 2015, no one saw it coming. When they signed Durant, many doubted it would work. When they bet on their young players, critics lined up. But all those decisions had one thing in common: long-term vision. And that's exactly what seems to be forming again, because bringing in Morant would be more than a blockbuster move. It would be a statement, a message to the league, a return to the elite. And at the same time, betting on ABANDO and Sodto means investing in the future with immediate return. They're smart bets, combining potential with output, energy with discipline. And that's exactly what a coach like Kerr needs. In fact, let's take a moment to talk about him. Steve Kerr has already proven he knows how to manage stars, but perhaps his greatest talent is developing players no one believed in. It was true for Iguodala, Looney, Gary Payton II. If ABANDO and Sodto arrive now, they won't just find an open franchise. They'll find a mentor. And that can accelerate the process like never before. Because when the environment is right, talent blooms, chemistry appears, and results become inevitable. And look, if there's one thing the Warriors' history has taught us, it's that no one wins alone. The pieces have to connect. The players have to buy in. The fans have to believe. That's why this moment is so delicate, but also so exciting, because the team stands at a crossroads. They can choose to stick with what they have, stay competitive but predictable, or they can take a risk, be bold, bring in new forces, and build something even greater. And if you've made it this far, it's because you feel it too. Something is about to happen. This isn't just another off-season. This is the moment to redefine everything. And the next chapter of the Golden State Warriors is being written right now, with every rumor, every conversation, every choice. So, Warriors fan, let me ask you, are you ready? Because this quiet rebuild could be the beginning of a new empire, and you're witnessing it right here, right now. If you enjoyed taking this journey with us, you know what to do. Hit the like button now. It tells YouTube you want more videos like this. Deep analysis, packed with insight and emotion. And of course, subscribe to the channel. We don't just deliver news. We take you behind the scenes, connect the dots, and put you at the heart of everything happening with our Golden State Warriors. Every like, every subscription, every comment from you is the fuel that keeps this project alive. So hit the bell and join us, because the next season is going to be electric and you'll be following every detail here firsthand. See you in the next video.